these are like a better version of the other Hydro Mocs. So I always felt that the midsole on these were too thin, and they just didn't have enough cushion to them, enough squish to them. Where that's kind of what these provided. They provided that that missing squish factor and that missing cushion and added traction that the initial Hydro Mocs were kind of lacking. So these are definitely an improvement over these. Whether or not it's a $50 improvement, that's up to you. Good day, my foam shoe friends. We're back with another. This is a viewer requested offering here from Merrell. This is the Hydro Next Gen Moc shoes. So, I don't know if they're entirely EVA or if they've got like a rubber outsole to them, but they definitely have more of like a shoe structure about these. I have the Hydro Moc, and I was never a really big fan of them. They just weren't that comfortable. So I kind of was hemming and hawing. Damages. Box has seen better days. I was kind of hemming and hawing when the viewer requested it, but I kind of like fulfilling viewer requests because I never really know what I'm getting into. Because most of the time they request something that I have no knowledge or exposure to. So I figured, hey, why not? We'll give them a shot. And I found them, they were actually on sale. This was last year's model. This is the Hydro Next Gen Moc C. I got them in black. This is last year's model because I tried to get them off of the Merrell website. Initially, they were discontinued, but they were on like super sale, but they didn't have my size. So I ended up finding them on sale on the website, the camping website, and they were like, I think around $60 or something. So they were still marked down from, I think, the initial $90 that they were priced at. So they were still on sale, essentially, but not like the super sale that they had them going on the Merrell website. So I missed the super sale, but I still found them for sale on Ray. And I checked Merrell's website, and they have this like this year's model of this foam shoe, and I noticed that the hole patterns on the top are a little different, and they've kind of got this weird, it almost looks like powdered sugar. I'll add a little bit of footage at some point showing the next gen version of this. They actually look kind of cool. I don't know how wide these are. Yeah, see, these look a little more narrow in the toe box area than the newer ones. They look like a lot more like wide, rounded toe box on them. I'm actually kind of curious about them, but they're $100, so. I'll wait until they go on sale and then maybe check them out. Or if I don't end up liking these at all, I will return these to Ray, and then I will put that $60 towards the newer version of these on the Merrell website, because that's, if they're $100, and these are like 65 or something. So I'm 2/3 of the way there towards the newer ones. But we'll check these out. Let me set these up, even though I don't really, I'm going to show the little slideshow that I did on the last couple of videos. But I'll read the sales pitch real quick before I examine these in hand. I've got it pulled up here online. So on the Ray website, it says, plan to spend your day in and around water? Question mark. Slip right into these extra cushy Merrell Hydro Next Gen Moc men's shoes with an improved heel shape for friction-free all-day comfort. They've got the black color I got, that's two-toned. I thought that was the best looking one. And then they've got the moss tone, which is also a two-tone, but it's that that moss tone, like greenish colorway that those slides I have are in, and I've already got like a bunch of slides in that color, so I thought the black was like a different option. And then they've got the khaki one, and that it was the one that was on super sale on the Merrell website. So the features of this, water-friendly EVA foam uppers for a lightweight, flexible fit and easy cleaning. Bloom Performance foam is made of algae biomass, transforming green water into clean water in the process. I have no idea how that would work, but it sounds good. The word biomass is kind of cool, you know. FloatMax foam midsoles for a soft and smooth underfoot experience. Rubber outsoles, vegan friendly. So I did notice they had some rubber inlays. We will check those out in hand. I think that's all I'm going to read on these. I'm not going to go and read the new write-up for the new version, so we'll leave it at that. But yeah, there's the rubber insoles that they commented on. But one thing rubber insoles do is they make the midsole firmer. And this does feel pretty firm in hand. It doesn't feel like it's got a lot of squish. So I'm curious how these are going to be. So they're very opened on the top. These are definitely kind of like a water shoe, it seems. They do have some pretty good chunky midsole to it, and they're going with that algae kind of motif, which is very organic and unique. They seem to like to do that with these whatchamacallits. I still haven't slept yet. These Hydro Mocs. They've got a few Hydro Mocs. And they all tend to do this algae bloom motif on them. So this one, let me grab the, because there's design elements on this that are from the regular Hydro Moc that I want to point out. Just because there's a lineage there. All right, so the standard Hydro Mocs have a strap on the back, and it's kind of it's functional in the sense that it keeps this back area from coming out, so it adds additional stability to that back part. But it's not like a Croc like heel strap or something. It's more akin to like the Pollex. It reminds me of the Pollex, and I think Rose Anvil actually compared the Crocs Pollex to these Hydro Mocs, and also the Yeezy Foam Runners. But the Pollex is like that too. It's got a strap, and it still has like a back heel component to it, and the strap just kind of retains that heel component. So I mean, that's basically how these function. All right, so with all that established, get these out of the way. These aren't that comfortable though. Like I'm not a huge fan of these. There's better options. That's why I really haven't done a video on these yet. So maybe over the summer I'll get to it, but these just really aren't that soft and they're not that comfortable. So I'm not a huge fan of them. So that's partly why I wasn't super enthusiastic to review these, is because these are a lineage of those, and those aren't that good. But anyways, that heel strap that I was just talking about, that's what this whole thing is here. But it's not functional. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like an appendage that is no longer functioning. But it's the same design element there. They just kind of did away with it, but they still kept the visual component to it, which is kind of interesting. It's got a nice big chunky heel to it. So I'm guessing they reinforced that design. It doesn't cut down as much as it did on the Water Moc. So they still have the piece there. It just doesn't move, which, I mean, it is what it is. It's just interesting, I thought. So moving forward, we've got like a nice organic design kind of going on with the holes in the top. So major ventilation. These will be very good for water and or hot weather. We got a nice high back strap to it, and it cuts down pretty low on the sides here, which is nice. For anybody who has like that big ankle bone like I do, this seems like it's cut low enough that you won't have any rubbing there with these. So, and the midsole is pretty, it's pretty chunky. It's pretty good. There's a bit of a heel cup to it, where my thumb is. Here, let me pull this up just a little bit. All right, where my thumb is where the insole is. So it's not all the way up here, but it still is a pretty thick heel on the insole. And then it kind of comes down. It's right here. And then I can't feel over there. It's pretty high over here too. So it's pretty thick all the way through. So we'll see how much compression there is there. Got the Merrell logo going on the front. And like I was mentioning earlier too, there's a lot of rubber inserts on the bottom of these, which from my experience, it tends to create a firmer walking characteristic. It eliminates some of the compression because this material here would normally be made of that EVA material. And when you substitute it with those rubber inserts, it tends to make like this harder walking characteristic to it, and it takes away from the cushiness. So, but it adds more function though too, having the more rugged outsole to it, having that rubber. So you got some more traction there that the softer EVA wouldn't otherwise provide. So it makes these a little more versatile. So we'll see how sporty they are in their fit. Because if they're loosey-goosey, then it really doesn't matter how versatile they make them. They're still going to be flopping around on your foot like a fish. I like how this is divided here. How there's this separation between the two sections. It just looks cool aesthetically. It's kind of a nice organic design. So, and I like the differences too in the traction patterns on the bottom. How there's this kind of flatter, like positive space, and then you've got more of a negative space over here with these, again, the little algae type of motifs. So, and then you've got the flatter positive space again on the back, and it's got a little bit of a rounded arch to it, or heel to it, sorry. So, speaking of the arch, I can't really tell. Let me grab that light and see if we can get a little bit of a look down in it. The slides had a really good, here it is, arch support to them. The Hydro slide, I think is what they were called. These ones, these were very ergonomic and they had a nice arch support to them. But the footbed is rather narrow on these. That was kind of my criticism of these, is they were a little narrow. And they weren't super squishy. They had more of a firmer EVA foam to it, which when you get into the more ergonomic arch support and stuff, it's nice to have that firmer foam. That's what Hoka does. So we'll see if these are also like that, if they've got and I'm thinking they're going to, if they've got a little firmer of a, there we go, a little firmer of a footbed to it. So these are a little dusty. There's some sock lint in these. I feel like these were probably returned. That looks like it's been replaced too, that little sticker on it. It fell off the other one when I pulled them out of the box. It was already all folded up. So I have a feeling these were a return. But it looks like it's got a little bit of an ergo to it, a little bit of an arch support. It kind of dips down a little bit where the ball is. The texture on the insole looks very minimal. It actually looks identical to those slides. So I'll grab that. It'll be a little easier to see because it is identical. It's a very kind of a flat, neutral texture component to it. So it's that exact same thing in this one. So, and I went with the 12s on these just because they're closed toe. The other Hydro Moc I went with the 12s on, and that was the better size, even though these slides I went with the 11s. So all right, I think that's all I have to share about them in hand. There's a little M on the fake strap component, but I think I covered FloatMax, because they said that the midsole was a specific like EVA, not the Bloom, but the FloatMax. There's always something new. Okay, let's throw them on foot and see how these puppies fit. All right, here's a teaser of the Zen slide from Xenon. I've been wearing these for the past week, kind of breaking them in. That video is coming up soon. I want to break them in for another week or so. So I've already filmed the unboxing portion of this. I just have to wait to do the kind of the follow-up, because I want to do more of a long-term version of that, just because it recommends a break-in period with them. So I'm giving them the respect of the break-in period. But back to these. They slide in pretty well with these socks on. They kind of remind me of the Rejuvenate, the way the heel is very inviting, that heel component to it. So they don't feel too bad. First impressions, they're pretty ergonomic. They're a little narrow, like I was anticipating. They kind of have a similar shape and form to them as those other Hydro Mocs, and also the slides. The ergos are very akin. So they got a pretty good arch support, and then it dips down to where the balls of the feet are. I shouldn't have worded it like that, but anyways, and then the heel is pretty well cupped. I'm getting a little bit of a heel slide on these, but it's not too bad. It comes up pretty high, and it kind of locks in a little bit right there. How it's got those little flanges on the side. It kind of locks in to the back of the heel there, which is kind of nice. I like how that fits back there. The sizing is good. I've got maybe a ½ inch or a ¼ inch. Yeah, about a ½ inch left on the toe box, which is sufficient. I'm curious about these newer ones, and so far my impressions on these are good, but I'm really kind of wanting to try out those the newer ones, the next gen ones, just because how the toe box looked on those. It looked like it was really nice and wide, and these are sufficient, but they're pretty much like the width of my foot. So I would say the width on these are pretty standard, if not a little more narrow. I think we're getting, or at least I'm getting spoiled with like Crocs that have like an inherently wider width to the front and the toe box area. So whenever I put on anything that has more of a standard width to it, it feels narrow. But I think these are a regular width, like toe box and stuff. And then it feels like it does kind of narrow a little bit back here by the arch, and it kind of locks in a little bit. So these do have a pretty sporty fit to them. I've got a little bit of space at the kind of the top here, which is good because it'll allow a little more movement when walking. But then kind of on the top of the foot here, it snugs down a little bit. So it locks on to the foot a little bit better. So just standing in these and sliding into them, they feel a lot better than I was expecting them to. I'm a little impressed by these. So the squish isn't too bad on them. It's kind of what I was expecting. They're a little firmer, but they still have a little bit of compression going on to them. And there's a little bit of curl up at the toes, which you can visually see that on these slides. So how that kind of curls towards the toe area there. These are kind of doing the same thing. They're curling up a little more. But I'm kind of liking these this extra rubber on them now too, because they've definitely got like a water shoe feel to them with the upper, but then having that bottom, that thicker midsole and that rubber outsole, it gives them more of a shoe feel. So I was wanting like a summer version of these Hokas, these Primos, because these are insulated, and these would kind of fit that bill. They even have the same color scheme to them. Talking myself into keeping these, but I shouldn't. I should send these back and get the newer ones. I think I will do that still. But these are selling me on the newer ones because I'm curious to see what Merrell did with the newer ones. So we'll get some walking footage on them. I like the two-tone on them. They look good. All right. The walking characteristic isn't too bad. I can kind of feel that harder rubber insert on the bottom. It always stands out when you step down on it, like I was mentioning earlier. Like the other areas where that rubber isn't there, it has a little bit of a softer compression to it. And then where that rubber inlay is, it's a little firmer. And they're still really slippery. Like I'm not really gaining much. That rubber was very hard though too, I noticed. It wasn't like a gummy rubber. It's kind of I don't know how to describe it, but it was a little harder of a rubber. So it really isn't providing much extra traction. So it would probably provide some more longevity, and depending on the surface, it might grip down a little bit better, for sure, than that soft EVA. But I don't know, right now it's just kind of taken away from the comfort on this surface because it's not really providing me additional traction on this. Usually when there's a rubber outsole to it, I can get some traction on this this paneling, this flooring, but that's not happening with these. So they're not too bad. They're not too bad. The fit's pretty good. Definitely go up. These, if I went down to the 11s, they would have been too small. These are pretty much have the same sizing characteristics as the standard Hydro Moc, because I had initially ordered those in an 11 and they were too small, and I had to send them back and got them in the 12s, and the 12s are just right. They my feet are pretty much kind of maxed out on them. So if you're looking at these and you're on a half size, I would go up to the next one, next size up. But yeah, these aren't too bad. I don't think they're worth like $90. That's one thing I'm not a huge fan of with Merrell, is just how they're so pricey. If you wait, you can get them on sale, because they tend to do that. They usually hold pretty good sales. Like those slides, I think were initially 50, and I got them for like 25 or something. So like I said, I got these for like 63. And I think when they had the other color on sale on the website that I missed out on with the sizing, that was down to like 45 or something. And same thing with the those other Hydro Mocs. I got those on sale, I want to say, for like 30 bucks or something. So even though they're priced high as far as the retail, you can usually find some good sales on them. So let's get some action angles on these, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, excuse me. These are actually a little warm. I haven't had them on that long. I've got a lot of lights on right now in here too, but my feet are getting a little toasty in these, which is surprising for the amount of ventilation that's on the top. So I'm sure they'd be better if I was outdoors or barefoot, but I don't know, these are a little warm. surprisingly. So the sizing is, it's right there. As I stand in them and my feet kind of settle a little more, like my toes are kind of, they're not far from the end. And just with loose fitting kind of designs like this, where you don't have laces or anything like that, the foot tends to shift a little in them, and like my toes are kind of sliding towards the front, so they're starting to feel a little small. But I don't, again, and then it comes back to the heel component to it, to where like if I go up in size, then I'm gonna get more heel slide, you know? And then what would you rather have? A little tighter of a toe box, or a little looser of a heel to it, you know? Like that seems to be the main design flaw with these foam shoes. And that's essentially what these are. These are like a full-fledged foam shoe, with having that heel lip come up so high. So, I mean, just like the Rejuvenates. These almost have the same silhouette as the Rejuvenates, just with that heel. So, I don't know if that's in shot, but, you know, it's pretty much the same design. So, and that's the issue with the Rejuvenates is these only come in whole sizes apparently. I think I'll have to double check and see if these Merrells come in half sizes. I don't think they do, but you know, if you go down, then the toes are a little snug, and if you go up, then you got too much heel slide. So I don't know, but I think they look nice. They look nice. They're a little warmer than expected. I don't see anything gained by that additional traction on the bottom. I almost wish that was just all EVA. They'd be a little more comfy. But I am curious though on the newer ones. So I think what I'm gonna do, I have no desire to keep these. I will send these back, but these have sparked my interest on the next gen model for this year. So once I get the return going and started with these, and I get reimbursed for them, I will pick up the next gen model on the Merrell website, and we'll give those a try. Because one thing Merrell does is they do kind of they redesign their products. So the new one might be better than these, and these aren't terrible. I just don't have a need for them. I've already got, like the Pollex, I'd rather wear the Pollex over these, or the Rejuvenates, I'd rather wear the Rejuvenates over these. Or I've got those, the Curry foam toes I could wear too. So these are just, or I would rather just wear a pair of Crocs. You know, if I'm gonna wear a foam shoe that's locked in around the ankle, I'd just rather throw on a pair of Crocs. So, but I guess if you were going on more of like a nature walk type water situation, wet situation, these won't be too bad of an option. But I don't know how much traction that outsole's going to provide to you, depending on the terrain that you're on. If it's like muddy, then for sure. But if you're on like maybe like a boat or something, these might not provide any extra traction. You might be slipping around. So I don't know. But they're not terrible. They're not terrible. I'm not a huge Merrell fan. I just think they're a little overrated and a little overpriced. And they just kind of have this, I don't know, this certain like vibe persona about them that I feel like they're trying to be better than they really are. That's just the vibe that I get from Merrell. Like they try to be high end, but they're still kind of mid, you know? So that's all I have to say about these, I do believe. So would I recommend them? Sure, if you can get them on sale. You know, $50 I'd say. 50, $60, that's not a bad deal. I mean, they're all right. So I'm really curious on the next gen model. So like I said, these have sparked my interest for the next gen model, which I would say is a positive response. Real quick, just in conclusion, these are like a better version of the other Hydro Mocs. So I always felt that the midsole on these were too thin, and I just didn't have enough cushion to them, enough squish to them. Where that's kind of what these provided. They provided that that missing squish factor and that missing cushion and added traction that the initial Hydro Mocs were kind of lacking. So these are definitely an improvement over these. Whether or not it's a $50 improvement, that's up to you. But if you can get them on sale, they're not a bad offering. I kind of like them, and that's why I'm going to try the newer ones. But I can only own. My resources are finite. We'll just leave it at that. So if I can get something and get a video out of it and then turn that into another video, then that's keeping the ball rolling for me financially. So that's what we're gonna do. But I just thought I would add that comparison in conclusion to the initial Hydro Mocs. So, all right, thanks guys. All right, so that's gonna do it for the Hydro Moc. I'm cheating. The Hydro Next Gen Moc in black and cream. So not too bad. They're kind of mid. They're kind of mid, not gonna lie. But I will try the newer ones. I'll return these, get my money back, and we'll try the new ones because they look like they're a little better designed. So I'm curious. These have sparked my interest for these for this particular model, the one I just read. Yep. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I appreciate all the positive comments everybody leaves. It's very encouraging. If you have any requests, excuse me, my throat's dry. If you have any requests for any other slide or foam creation, feel free to leave it down in the comments and I will try to fulfill that request and make a video out of it. So, yep, thank you. Cheers. We'll see you in the next one.